Hey guys, today we're going to go over the loading of these e-bikes on this bike rack here. Today we're using this, it's called the Hollywood, and it is model HR1700. So the best way I find to load these bikes on there is you want to get these fingers in the right spot first. So it's easy once you have your bikes, you know you have two certain size of bikes. So then basically what you're going to do is you're going to measure, you want to lay out your tape measure, and you want to measure so you're up about 4 inches, because you want these to sit about 4 inches inside these fingers. So you want to measure on the bike where it's about 4 inches up from the bottom, and you measure from the front to the back. And so basically that the tire is going to be sitting in about this far into those fingers. So then you can measure these up and measure from this side of the finger to that side of the finger with that measurement. And then when you're loading two bikes, you want to load this front one first, and then you want to lift the tire over, and then you lift the back tire over. So I'm going to demonstrate that. And it's a little trickier because we're loading two bikes, different size bikes. So this one's the 26-inch, so it has a longer wheelbase, and the other one is a 20-inch, so it's a little trickier, but same idea with all the bikes. So you're going to pull the back brake. This is when you're by yourself. When you have two people, you can just lift it right on. You pull the back brake, put the front tire in, then you lift the back over, and you can set it up there. Then you can lift the back right over, set it into the spot, go around to the front, just kind of holding it. And you want to make sure your straps are out of the way before you do this. Then you lift the front, and you kind of just balance it, drop it in there. Then what you can do, so this has to be down before you do that, obviously, just to make it easier. Then you can put your straps on, just to make sure it doesn't go anywhere. And they don't have to be crazy tight. You want to have, there's a little rubber piece, you want to have that on your rim. Get it in there, just get it snug. Get your back one on. You want to make sure it's between the forks though. You don't want to, okay, so you want to just make sure it's between, not the forks, sorry, the spokes. So you want to make sure the spokes aren't getting pressed on. Okay, now what you can do is you can lift this up. So you're going to lift this bar right up. So there's a little piece on the inside. You got to undo this. And just leave a hand on the bike. That's what I usually do, just to make sure it doesn't move on you like it did there. You can slide that up and put your bolt back in. Put your piece on the back. And the piece I'm talking about is just a little handle like this. And you tighten that up nice and tight. The furthest bike to put on is always the trickiest. So, and you raise this up. Put it to where you want it. You're going to want to make sure these are unlocked. So right now I have it locked. I should have had this unlocked before I put this on. So you unlock this so you can undo it. Basically, this is just a locking mechanism so people can't unscrew the clasp to hold the bike. So this will unlock this mechanism so it'll just freewheel. It won't actually loosen the clasp or the clamp. And then depending on where you're going to hook it up on the bike, actually I'm going to hook this one up. I think it'll work a little better, so I'll use this one for the outside. And it all depends on the configurations of your bikes and things like that. So you loosen these up. Once you loosen these up, then they'll slide up and down the rails. And the inside one's going to work better for this setup here. So then you just put it to where you need it. And then that just clamps onto the bike like that, so it can't slide or go forward and backwards like you saw it earlier. Screw that down. And then now the second bike's going to be a lot easier. This one's clamped down. Then once you get going, you want to lock this up, lock that, and basically that'll freewheel this mechanism like I was saying. Okay, then now you're ready for your second bike. Another thing is just make sure your straps are kind of out of the way somehow. You can tuck them in or whatever. And usually you want to stagger them, so stagger the handlebars. So I want to have the handlebars going the other way this time. Get your tire so it's just a little past the finger there, your front tire. Because when you lift it up, it's going to come back a bit. So then you get your front tire in. And then again, you just lift your back, drop it in. And see, that's not quite, you want it a little bit, you want to pull these over a little bit more. So I can adjust that. So then the same idea. And then you want to figure out where you want to clamp this. Just get it loose enough so it'll, because once you loosen this, it loosens the clamp, but it also loosens the back piece there. So then you just use your both hands there and just slide it down. You have to loosen it a bit more. Slide that down, and this one looks like it'll clamp perfect right over here. You can even go down a little more. There we go. And that'll clamp right on there. Then you just put these through. And like I said, I'm going to adjust this a little more, just to make it ride a little better in there. Another thing I wanted to mention too, if you're putting the 20-inch wheels inside this rack, you want to have the derailleur set on the gear that's closest to the tire, so the biggest gear. So you want it on the biggest gear, that way it doesn't touch the outside of the fingers. So just make sure you do that as well. Just set it to your biggest gear, so the gear that's closest to the tire. That way your derailleur is not going to hit the fork. So I just have to adjust this a little. So all I do, loosen that up. Slide that in like that, and that's kind of how you want them sitting, so they sit nice and tight in there. They're touching on both sides. And then just adjust your tire if you need to. You can just lift it up like that and adjust it to where you need it. That'll sit in like that. and this one like that. And like I said, this initial adjustments and everything going to take you a little longer, but once you have everything adjusted and you know how to do it, it's a lot quicker. So that is about all you need to know about putting the e-bikes on the racks. And we're going to have some more videos we're going to do today, and we're just going to, through those, on those other videos, we're going to just show you how to ride the e-bikes and things like that. So look for the link above, and we're also going to have links to the bike rack below.